Yes, ma'am.
Namaste, everyone. Guruji says, peace in real terms is possible only in a world governed by spiritual values. With that quote, Darpan Foundation welcomes you to Upanishad with Guruji Sri Nand Kishore Tiwari, propounder, Sahaj Smriti Yog, and Dr. Shekhar Patel, President, International Center for Cultural Studies, and member, Board of Trustees, Hindu University of America. Guruji established the Universal Forum for Human Dignity in the year 2002 and founded Darpan Sahasmriti Yoga Ashram at Urigam in 2018. Under Guruji's guidance, Darpan Foundation is consistently working in areas of sustainable living, education, conservation of nature, health, sanitation, and enabling senior citizens to meaningfully contribute to society. Through the various social transformation projects, we have touched more than 5,350 students, 26 schools, and 42 villages. Guruji Sri Nandkishore Tiwari propounded Sahajmati Yoga system of self-realization along with Sahajmati Kriya, an absolute, effortless method to explore unexplored dimensions of one's existence. This is a path easy to follow along with a busy family life. Dr. Shekhar Patel has held senior positions in companies like Evo Hydrations, PepsiCo, Nestle Nutrition, Quest Diagnostics, etc. Dr. Patel lays emphasis on the shared values and virtues of living ancient cultures, which can help contain the present global environmental issues. He also says that it is the responsibility of the elders to develop intention in youth to work for our society, our nation, and humanity. Today, we are honored to have Dr. Shekhar Patel with us, and we extend a warm welcome to him. The word Upanishad is made up of two words, Upa and Nishad, meaning sitting beside. Traditionally, seekers looking for knowledge would sit beside Guru and ask their questions. And that is the very essence of our Upanishad series. Maximum seekers, maximum seeking is our motto. So let us strengthen this timeless tradition of seeking, of asking questions. Audience, I urge you to make the most of this precious opportunity and have your questions answered by a living Guru. Do post your questions in the chat box on Zoom or YouTube, and Guruji will address as many as time permits. We are sharing the link to our YouTube page. Do visit our page, have a look at our initiatives, our events, and if you like what you see, don't forget to share and subscribe. The recording of this Upanishad will be made available there. The topic for today's Upanishad is Sanatan and Universal Values. Without further ado, let us commence today's Upanishad. Audience, a humble request to disable the video and mute the audio on your mobile phones. This will help optimize the bandwidth for this Upanishad. Before handing over to our host, Dr. Patel, I request Guruji to say a few words.
तमक्षरं परमं वेदितव्यं तमस्य विश्वस्य परं निधानम् त्वमव्ययं शाश्वतधर्मगोप्ता सनातनस्त्वं पुरुषो मते मो पुरुषो मते मो. Welcome to all of you in this Upanishad. I am happy that in these times when humanity is perturbed with worldwide pandemic, we are still thinking about our eternal existence and thinking about upholding values. Generally, universal and eternal, they use interchangeably. Values and Mulya, they use interchangeably, but there are differences. The direction is same. In today's Upanishad, we will deliberate on these values and whatever questions and queries are there. Together we try to find solution and move forward. With these words, I hand over to Merlin.
Thank you, Guruji. Handing over to Dr. Patel ji. Over to you, Patel ji.
Namaste, Guruji. It is very nice to meet you online. I'm joining from America. And while I have a lot of questions, I will try to be as clear and concise as possible.
Dr. Shekhar, you've gone on mute. We can't hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll start again. It was on mute. I primarily work with native traditions and cultures across the globe through International Center for Cultural Studies. And while I have many questions, I will try to streamline my questions. And before I ask my first question, Guruji, I want to just give you the basis of my question. And that is when I move, when we go to different tribes and talk to them, and I personally being a Hindu, I find that most of the thought processes and value systems are similar across the globe among these tribes and even among Hindus. And it starts with the story of origin of Earth. Almost like in our culture, they also say that there was primarily, when the universe started, there was some consciousness that transferred into energy, and energy transferred into matter, which actually matches with physics. But then the values, what they say is, I don't know, maybe you can help us understand what the values are. They say that we pursue certain things in life, and when we are pursuing things in life, how we prioritize our life helps this whole universe survive. And they tend to generally take care of nature, a mountain. And when we go directly to them and they say that I am going to give this, I'm personally, like one head of a tribe will say, I'm personally going to give an offering to this mountain, and this mountain will protect all of us. So how does that happen? Like, where does that belief come from? When he says that, for an ordinary person, mountain is a, bunch of rocks standing, and how will that mountain protect somebody across the world? So people tend to laugh or, kind of minimize what they say. So that is my first question, like the cause and effect. What ancient cultures believe that, okay, if I do this, it will have an impact somewhere else. So can you answer how ancient cultures would say these things, make such big, broad statements?
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Shekhar. You have wide exposure to the communities, and the question is very precise. And now, one thing which you said is clear, that wherever they are worshipping or communicating to consciousness higher than themselves here means which is commonly known to human society or humanity. So some people see two kinds of knowledge we can, everywhere when we have to move, we have to devise 2 points. Otherwise, there is no journey. So we say this and that anywhere. From here, we are moving to there. So that it becomes easy. So we say for this 2 kinds, 2 things are there, that there are some special people or special knowledge rather. Because of the special knowledge, they become special. And then there is common knowledge. So those who are through their sadhana reaches to some stage of realization, it is clear for them that they are communicating because they are receiving the response and it is working. Like for a common person, it works when they are communicating with one another. So there, wherever these traditions are alive, this live Guru Paramparas are there, or some remnants are there, they have that faint memory. Fortunately, in India, this has never died down. From the very beginning, live Guru Shishya Parampara has been there. So here it is seen prominently. In other native communities, which you are hinting about, and which you through your platform, you are reaching out to them and they are sharing their knowledge, they also are somehow have that memory, because maybe faint, maybe in bits and pieces, but that thing is still there, that such a thing exists. And that's the thing which gives them belief in themselves. And once they start working at them, then that belief goes and trust comes up. There's a difference between belief and trust. Belief is when you believe in something that may be true or may not be true. But trust is when you are firm. So trust is always with a living person. That means when we say a living person, that means from lower consciousness to higher consciousness also. Because consciousness is common. So when they are receiving such knowledge and it is working, then their trust increases. So that is how that thing comes, because there has been precedent. And when it works, we say no, knowledge is what knowledge does. So if those who are in lower in consciousness, they cannot perceive. Like for a simple person who has not read anything, if you tell him law of physics, he'll not understand. But for a well-read person, it is simple. Oh, it works like this. Same way when you go to transcend your senses, because all knowledge which we are receiving, which we call avidya, and there is paravidya, vidya, avidya, paravidya. Where vidya is in the middle. What is the definition of the vidya? Through avidya or otherwise, when we reaches to a stage that we seek liberation, savidya ya vimuktaye, when we look for liberation. Liberation means despite being in this body, we become free from this. So then we move towards paravidya. So paravidya is the subject of, even because when we say subject, it is not right word. But to make it sense, we have to say. So when we are moving to subject of paravidya, then we have to be such that we have transcended our senses. Now your knowledge is not coming through senses. When senses have become so pure that they exist as if they do not. Same way when you exist as if you do not. So that is our movement towards seership, which we call rishi here in India, that you are just seeing, you are not interfering or tinkering with anything. While in avidya mode of knowledge, we never reach to this stage. We do not call, because if we reach to that stage, then you have transformed into a seer, a rishi. Before that, you have some perception of subject. With that, you are tinkering in the sense you are always in the mood. Today you know something, tomorrow you know something, like we say, no, Newton, Galileo, Kepler, by and by in science, because I am giving example from the Vidya field. In Vidya field, that where you start to become a seeker, then you have to move on to the Upanishad kind of, where a person whom we know that this person is realized, we go and slowly in association, we keep knowing, because guru doesn't teach anything. There it is like in association, we keep learning. Because teacher and all, this is different. This is field of there are so many things, there are 4 modes we call of one, this which we are doing, this is Vakri communication. Another is then Madhyama. Then what is Vakri? Through words. When it is Madhyama, what it is, that through your emotional energy, through your thought process, through your cleanliness of senses, in sitting meditation, you start perceiving things in a higher format. So that is Madhyama. Then Pashyanti. Now you have become much more refined. You can see things, glimpses through like a movie you see that way. Then there is Parada ultimate, where it is something akin to like photons. You just to give a simile, because there is no such language. You receive when you are sitting, it's called transmission. When guru and disciple are sitting, a kind of heat or some kind of energy it is transmitted. The knowledge is transmitted. It cannot be taught. So when someone becomes capable of receiving, then only the guru knows that now is the time to transmit. Otherwise, it is not correct. So same way, when this kind of way we progress, then they start perceiving that thing, which was how you communicate to a mountain. No, because in consciousness, everything is consciousness only. This got consolidated. So for people's sake, maybe to the people whom he has to convey, he has to make something that he is conveying through the mountain. But reality may be something else, that he is just communicating to a higher consciousness. Or he has made us, like we deify, we do prana pratishtha. He or she may have deified that mountain, that this is our pious thing. But the real thing is consciousness, that everything is made of consciousness. And gradually it is coming in the field of science also. People are understanding, like J.C. Bose, Jagdish Chandra. We always had that understanding. But scientifically, he proved in today's language that plants have life. And he was about to prove that even metals have life. But by the time he passed away, or we hear that that experiment was left there only. He had done an experiment in that. So that means everything has a life. That life means consciousness here, not this. So if one becomes capable of transcending their senses and start communicating with the consciousness, then it is this thing, communion between one level of consciousness and another level of consciousness. So through living Guru Parampara, this has been there all the time in India. And we know, because certain things we can say only when the research has been done and audience is ready to receive it. Anyway, we all know that at one point of time, Earth was one mass. Slowly, then we have here that Pangaea story and everything. So that means we were connected at some point of time. Later on, we got spread everywhere. So some memory is staying there through generation to generation. It has been there in some or the other form. But fortunate are we that here in India, that has been intact as it is. So still the Guru Parampara is living here. And in other parts, wherever it is, in whatever fragments, that is still there. So this all moves only towards the one. So that is how this communication is possible between consciousnesses. So we cannot reduce it to the Vaikri language always. So that is where I keep saying this, there is a very intricate and subtle relationship between mother tongue and consciousness. So if one has really become the full person, then first they should go through their mother tongue and always value that. Then you learn all the languages of the world, because you have to communicate that to the other languages. So that thing is there. That's how this transmission is possible. through spiritual traditions.
So yeah, I'm glad that you brought the point of mother tongue. See, now we all know that we have environmental degradation. There are so many challenges in front of the world because of the climate change. And while the society or the modern industrial society tries to address the climate change crisis through the methods with which it actually created the crisis, uh, the traditional people, they tend to go a little deeper, and what they say is the values that we practice have to be prioritized, and once we prioritize based upon what we want to achieve, then we will be able to solve this climate crisis and things like that. But I'm sitting in an air-conditioned home. I am sitting, my clothes and everything. I'm basically living a lifestyle
Yes.
which is so anti-climate in a way.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there is this dilemma that goes in our mind, that on one side we want to go towards nature, but on the other side we also want to continue our comforts. And that is where people say that you have to prioritize your values, what you really want to do. But there is a difference between the Western concept of values and the traditional concept of values. But I tend to get confused. Value is value in the sense that what do I prioritize more, what do I like? But people tend to say there is some difference. But is there really a difference between the industrial values versus the traditional values? If you would, can you expand on that part?
Thank you. First of all, let me comment and send my positive energies to those who are thinking this way, that they need to prioritize their values. And I am very happy that some communities are thinking like this. Because in our Sahaj Smriti Yoga, first thing is we say the order of priorities. Priority itself means order, but to emphasize it, we say prior order of priorities is very necessary in life. So they are correct in their thinking. They should be very confident and clear that their thought process is in the right direction. Now comes to the values. That yes, these two things, we say development all the time, sustainable development, so much being advocated. But if we put sustainable living before, and whatever development is coming by practicing sustainable living, that much development should alone be considered as kosher or doable. Then gradually the values which you are saying, industrial values versus the natural values, or the way we should live, living values, that difference, because that difference is mostly in the mind, because human being is the agency. See, we are little different from other species. That is very common knowledge, that look at any other species, we are special, we are capable of communicating, we are capable of making changes. So human being is the most conscious, and therefore the responsibility is bigger in our hands as a human being. So what we have to do that we have to figure out exactly that we can make a difference. So this brings us to the character, that what makes a person, because values become different in different person, what kind of person we have become accordingly. See, when you say nature, sitting in a AC room and fine, everybody, we are living in cities, but person inside is craving, no, given the chance, if I can earn a respectful living, then I would like to go back to the nature. This news of survival is there, but only a person of character can make such decision, not all. All just they will keep on thinking that this is doable, this is not. Oh, this is good, always thinking one thing and doing another. So we say character building. Now this is the first value, that have as a human being, we become one. See, then only we understand the value. Otherwise, we do not understand the value of value. Just an example I give. Suppose 3 titles I give. We are a consumer being, we are a human being, and we are a divine being. Now, when it comes to choose a value, see, when we consider ourselves as consumer being, then what is the value? We are thinking this cost me 100 rupees or $100. That is value we are generally. Mostly, unfortunately, this is the kind of transaction happening. And this is the kind of, that brings to a whole lot of things, that education system, that we are not giving that kind of education, that human beings are always conscious as human beings first, and then only they are negotiating their divinity and consumer part. But here mostly their consumer part they are dealing. So value is one thing. Now somebody somehow does some tapas. See, tapas, even for earning value as a consumer, you have to do tapas, that we know, because the definition varies. Whatever you are doing honestly and with perseverance, that is tapas. So here also you have to do, but somehow you are still pursuing from avidya to vidya, and you become a real human being. Then what you have earned a lot of money, you have earned a lot of knowledge. Now you become a giver. You tend to become a giver because of your consciousness. You realize that I am a human. Like here, now in this pandemic times, there are so many communities. Like I remember one Agrawal community here, Karnataka Agrawal Samaj. They are giving free food to the quarantined people. They are offering, giving their phone numbers. Housewives are doing that work. So humanity is awake in them. Now their value system changes. They're still negotiating with consumer part, but trying to transcend towards divinity. So that thing has to be there. What is Guru Parampara? Sanatan Guru Parampara is saying that you are that, means you are divine essentially. Now by saying it doesn't work unless you have some trust that you can realize also. So we are saying that in this ephemeral body, you can experience that you are eternal. That is the whole story. That in this perishable frame, you can realize that you are imperishable, you are eternal. That is what the sloka I spoke in the beginning. That part you are really. So value. So you have to see anything you value because of its durability, because of its being all time good. So we are saying you are the only thing, you are the truth, who is the all time good. You are the divine one, which will leave one day this body, which you are considering that you are this body. And this truth you can realize while you are very much within it. So valuing there should be in that order. That in the first order, that you have to realize the purpose of your being human. Why you are here? Who are you? Such questions should arise. That is where the Upanishad begins. So valuing starts from when you, how will value we know that it's the real value? When we place the right thing at right place. So if in our tradition, this has been living knowledge that you can realize that you are an immortal being. Amritasya prahavayam. It is not just a verse written somewhere. It is living tradition. In our Guru's association, we realize that we are immortal. And that is how the Krishna is putting it. That's why even now we are reading and we'll keep reading him all the time. He says, what is the truth? He says, by knowing that if I Geyam yat pravakshami yat gyatva amritam ashnute anadimat param brahmam na sad na asad uchyate. Now this means he is saying, I will tell you something. Geyam yadi pravakshami. What is knowable, that I will tell you. And what is the test that I have got it? I have received it. Yat gyatva amritam ashnute. you will get immortality. So if you have become immortal in your experience, that is related to first question also yours, that consciousness level, you have reached to that consciousness in this body, that I am immortal. Now this, you know, its limited use. So you start valuing that more. Yad gyatva amritam ashnute. Then he qualifies this word. When you see yourself from that consciousness, who you really are, then you start calling this. Anadimat param brahmam na saduchite. This brahmam, this universe, this all what is appearing to be there and beyond that perceivable can neither be called untruth nor truth. Means it is something beyond truth. It is not definitely not untruth, but what you are considering it as truth, it is even beyond that. It cannot be told whether it is truth or untruth. Why? Because you have become that. Now from that you are seeing this. So it depends on your seeing. If you balance that seeing, then you balance those values. So these comes through character. If we have transformed as an individual, we got transformed. Our lower self. So in Sahaj Smriti Yoga, we say there are 4 levels, just for the sake of simplicity. Your body is one level, your mind is another, your self is another, your soul is another. So 4 levels. So self, when we are talking about, it is about character building. Character, how you know that character got built up? When you can choose without any alternative. You go with your choice. That this is, nothing can shake you from that. That means you have got real knowledge. That is why you are not shaky. Otherwise, you will always be shaky, whether this or that. So then you are not established in truth. So values are definitely different. Because here in Western education, what they are from material to spiritual, they are trying to do. Here in Indic tradition, wisdom, we come from spiritual to material. And that is how, look at any stream, any seer who came, like Patanjali, he begins with the Samadhi path. That you have to come down. Ath yoga anusasanam. How will you? This is the first thing. That now you have to come into the, I am telling you, the discipline of yoga. Means there is somebody already there in whose sasan, anusasan. He is not saying sasan. Anu means smaller. Dirgha means big. So he says anushas. That means somebody is disciplining. My guru is there. Now he has a disciple. Now I begin. And then the second is yogaschitta vritti nirodha. If all this is gone, all the tendencies gone, means you begin to see them in proper light. It is not that they disappear. So because all 5 you need, pramana, vipaya, nidra, smriti, all you need. But that is not the issue. You start seeing them as they are. So valuing comes through knowledge of truth. And when you know that I alone am truth, everything about me may be truth in that measure only, as much truth I have become. So all the time we keep removing what is false in us. So that's how we say neti neti charaiveti, not this, I am not this, I am not this. But when you say we are firm, that there I am divine, there I am that. So values in the West, they go from down to up, while here we come from up to down. So there has to come a meeting point. Values are same, but journey is different. Here from material and there from spiritual.
Very nice explanation. So one question that comes to mind, it was very nice to know that obviously you need to have a character to decide the direction. So let's assume that our native brothers or so-called people right now have become minority, literally. So these people, they choose the right path. So they form the right character because they have the right environment. But majority of the people around them have not grown up in an environment where it helps to form the character, and they are just, flowing with the flow. And obviously, a conflict will occur. Earlier, when the population was not so much, people could decide, to separate, to have physical separation between the people without character and those with character, so that people with character could develop an ecosystem to further, develop the strong character. But now, for all the communities that want to protect the environment, they want to prioritize their values, they want to say, I'm going to do this, and that's why I'm going to attain something good for me and for the environment. But now the challenge is, how do you meet that challenge where there are a lot of people whose character has not formed, and now I come in conflict with them, with their direct need. One guy wants to cut the tree to use it, and I want to save the tree. I want to grow the tree, and the moment I grow the tree, he comes and he cuts it again. So how do, as a practitioner of maybe I would say of dharma, practitioner of dharma, how can I survive in this world, and what should I be doing?
Very good question, very relevant and real. See, this is how it should be. See, there is a thing called narrative, because we are living in an age when we are capable of communicating to the whole world at the same moment. If everything goes, this is the right side of the technology. There are wrong side, of course, but right side of the technology is this, that we can communicate to the whole world. So we have to make now narrative strong. See, in India, Ramayana and Mahabharata, narratives are so strong and eternal that immediate connect comes the moment it is mentioned. Somebody is doing Ram Katha or Mahabharata Katha or anything. Generally, that also out of ignorance, people say they should not do Mahabharata, but that is for some another day. But Ramayana, suppose anything is happening, Ramayana somewhere is immediately connect, because not only genetically, but as a conscious being, that is there lying dormant in their consciousness, which they have forgotten. They have no smriti. Like Arjun, to Arjun, Krishna is telling, you do not remember, but I remember all the worth which you have taken. So smriti is there. So same here, now how to evoke that smriti back? Give them that narration back. So this is good people, and people of character has always been in minority. We have to accept that. But we should try to maximize that number. This has always been the effort. That's our effort here, that maximize good number of people, maximize maximum seekers, maximizing seekers. That is our work. So they come to know the truth. Once they come to know the truth, their character, they know this is the beginning. That is why we see when people had forgotten Ramayana and Tulsidas and other people came in almost every Indian language. And they said, Tulsidas named it especially Ram Charitamanas. Character. Charit means character. So that character, no people, it will not be understood by people. So he gave prominence to the character to make people that this hits their consciousness well, and they understand why it is so valuable. So once a narrative is there, this narrative can be made strong even by few people. That is a secret. I'm saying. Few people have knowledge and vision and drishti. The whole world they can make that narrative, because the power of truth is working behind. But somebody needs to voice it. So once that narrative is made into the world popular, then that person who is going against, when you say don't cut this tree and he's cutting, because of the power of that narrative or social power, that person will not confront much for some time. But after some time he'll feel, no, he is at the wrong, because he say, no, here it's a niti. For any niti, our this shastras are full. Every time I'm speaking something, some or other shastra is playing in that. I say, 14 भुवन एक पति होई भूत द्रोह तिष्ठे नहीं सोई. That means even if the God again is a misnomer for me. I want to say Ishwar because we are speaking in English. So
Yeah.
we have to say God. But when make it sure when I say God, I mean nothing because there is no other word. So I have to say. So Ishwar. And I say even Ishwar is incarnated with his full consciousness. Even he cannot go against people. Lok. So lok here means that narrative, that people are considering it something which may be the highest knowledge, but people are not perceiving, then it is of limited value. But the narrative is created, no, it is good, one should not cut tree. Then the one who is opposing, he will be cowed down, and after some time say it is not correct because he'll say no, all it is against lok. So narrative is very important, and narrative should be truthful. That should always be there. You see, when what people are doing, so many seers I meet here in India, but they are keeping their knowledge to themselves, they are not sharing. When something, if they know very clearly that they can just cut this narrative in one flat 5 minutes, that this is useless what you are talking, but they keep to themselves, they are not coming out. So what happens is, like see, you have seen in so many letters like Lenin, I am quoting such people for that kind of purpose. Generally I quote only Indians because that is the right way, our old tradition, because there is wisdom. Lenin says, if you speak at lie so many times, it becomes truth. We don't say such things. We say anytime, howsoever permanent you have made your lie by speaking 10 times, one truth comes and it demolishes all like light. But somebody needs to, even if one person, that should be out there in the public. So narrative is important, and few knowledgeable people can lead the narration. So when narrative, anything, because they say, no, they say pen is mightier than sword. That is the meaning, that whatever is your truth, please come out and tell people, share with them. I'm telling you my own example. I never wanted to speak anything, neither I want to speak today. Ours is a path of only sitting in meditation, not talking or doing anything. But due to the circumstances, I am forced to share with all, because otherwise people are not coming out. They're not knowing that how deep their traditions are. Their traditions are eternal, timeless of the knowledge. So narrative, if we make narrative strong, we make people aware, where we bring awareness campaigns through our character. Because that character, if a person with the no character is making a campaign, it may work for some time, it may confuse people. But a person with character saying something, that goes a long way. So if, even if in small numbers, we confront such people every day, but dialogue, we do dialogue, we bring come out with our narrative and tell, look, this is the way it is. So when you are speaking truth, it is like showing mirror. So let's see, look how you are appearing this mirror in this consciousness, in this narrative, how you see your own image. So then there's some sense, because this shaming, which we call, this automatically comes, no, I should not do this. So in privacy people do, but these days I know people have become so much adamant, but slowly they'll come down when the truthful narrative is taking its right place. So we have to work at that narrative. And then, yes, awareness campaigns, same thing.
So then the most important question comes. There are competing values, competing ideologies, competing religions, I would say. And these days, religion has become, I'm separating religion from dharma, it's different. So religion, you can say people are setting up shops in the name of religion and selling truth. So how when you say a narrative should be truthful, how do people know, an uninitiated person know what is the test of it, of the truth? Like, how do you say this is a truthful narrative and this is not truthful narrative? So, for example, a logging company comes in, they want to cut the forest. A group of people come, they want to convert the people who are logging, and they also want to convert the people who are, so-called tribals, and they are also going to sell the truth, a narrative that comes with it. So how are people going to find what is the truth, and who is the
Yes.
true leader or true
Yes.
preacher
Yes.
of that?
Yes. See, first of all, it's a long journey, because take the case of India. So with the example, it becomes a little clear. That's why I'm taking, which is true worldwide, but take the example of India. We were ruled by foreigners for some time. Not very long, I consider it, but for some time at least. And most harmful was the British period. Why it was harmful? Because it has cut the roots of our knowledge systems. It has struck hard at our knowledge system, our values. So that now the in generation in which we are, you and I are. See, whatever we have read in schools, we consider that to be the truth. But when we started searching, somehow this seeking came to some of us, and they start looking, then we find there's so much falsehood what we have learned in our education. We have not been taught our history, we have not been taught about our values, we have not been taught our knowledge systems. Anything is not taught that way. So now there's a confusion there. So narratives are competing, not in the that sense, they are conflicting, because one value system tells something, another tells something. So this is a long journey. So first why I'm saying long, because first you have to make your education system proper according to your knowledge traditions, according to reality. So what, and as you said, what is the truth? See how you, anything if you want to communicate. So there are certain things we define. And if you and I have to agree on something, at least one common thing has to be there, not two, at least one. That you and I agree in the same sense, that is called truth. Nothing else is truth. So that is truth for you and I, not for the third person. Now, when we start talking about that truth, then it is already in the others also. Then they are also start understanding themselves. It is like for them also mirror is opening and they are now seeing their truths. So that is why here in Vedic tradition became ekam sat vipra bahudha vadanti. That means the same truth is approached through many ways. So what is truth? That cannot be told. That can be realized. What is not truth? That can be told. This is not true, this is not true. So you keep moving that there is truth. So when you reach to that, what real truth is, that is you, that I'm telling clearly, that nothing else is true. And this is not me only, this is our tradition. Like this is the sentence given by Ashtabakra to Janak, that he tells that story you might be remembering, where the king Janak sees a dream, where he is a beggar and he's so hungry, and he suddenly sees a rotten piece of bread, roti, and he runs for that. Then a dog takes that away and he throws that into a gutter. Now he's so hungry that he puts his hand to eat it, and by the time he's about to eat, he wakes up. A dream is over. So he goes to Ashtabakra, his guru, and asks, now tell me what is the truth? That dream, this me, Janak, or something else? This is truth or that is truth? What? Because the intensity of that dream was such that even his living as a like waking state came into question. Janak was not a fool. So this see, narratives of Upanishadic narratives, they are very deep. They look very simple, but these are very deep. So he realizes that, oh, there are stages of realization where this waking state may be nothing as compared to the dream state if it is deeper and intense.
Mhm.
So, because we have to come back to the topic. So here, Ashtavakra tells neither that dream is true nor this so-called waking is true. Only you are the truth. And that whole Ashtavakra Gita unfolds and what the nature of reality is. So truth, when we say this is the one who is, as you say, mamev anshe ihjub loke jeev bhuta sanatana. That eternal, we call it by the name of that Vaha here in Indic tradition, so that neither it is male nor female nor these days LGBT or whatever you want to call. So keeping away from all, he said that because it is really that these things don't apply to that. So that is truth. Now to reach that, you need to do some journey. You don't get it just like that on the platter. So when you speak truth, truth is that only, that you are truth. But how to reach to your truth? So there is a process, whole process. There where every guru you go, they will have, they are really realized, they will have their own vocabulary on paribhasha, that this is how to make our way short. Otherwise, there is a whole jungle of words. We will not
Mhm.
get to anywhere. So this way we move. That through knowledge, through going to the guru, asking our questions, we are slowly opened up. And what is falsity around us, this cocooned in illusion, that keeps going away. So when we go to the guru, four things go away: shok, moh, sandeh, bhram. These are Hindi or Indic words. Shok
Mhm.
means this your what do you call
Sadness.
eh?
Sadness.
Shock,
Yeah.
sadness. So more means ignorance, Sandeh, doubt that who you really are, and illusion. So shok, moh, ignorance, illusion, doubt, and this sadness, they all disappear. Then you shine because you come to know that you are really a soul, a divine being, a Jyotish, an Atma. And that is how our country's name, Bharat. Bha means light, Prakash. Rat means immersed, immersed in light. That is how you are. So we say, who is Bharat? Wherever one is enlightened, that is he is Bharat. In whatever part he is living, he is Bharat. That one is Bharat. So this truth, when you say, this is the reality of the truth, but that is realized truth. Before that, yes, you have to come through so much. This thing journey is there, that you know first what is the current knowledge. According to that, then you keep seeking, then you become a person. So person of character, when we say, it is very easy how to become a person of character. If one wants to become, keep your mind, word and deed one. Your journey towards making character has begun. So it is simple. So but without, there is no shortcut for the character building. For upholding the value, there is no shortcut. So reaching to the truths, there is no shortcut. So this way we have to progress. Yes, there is journey. It is not just now we can solve something. No, we have to persevere, but truth empowers you. So first, knowing this, that there is truth. Because first question is why, when in spirituality I meet so many people, most of them are struggling on the first question. They are saying, I am so godly, I am divinely and everything, but they are doubt that there is such a thing called divinity. First doubt is that they doubt that they are yes, Atma. Now when you doubt your destination, how are you going to attain to that? So you need some association, so that your remembrance comes slowly. And this remembrance is not this commonly understood remembrance of your real Swarupa. Slowly your consciousness wakens up and you realize you are not this, you are something more, something more. So this is the way. Yes, journey is long, but truth is there, and so is way to reach that.
So I think we have 5 more minutes. Yeah, we can go to Q&A. Sorry. I think you can go to Q&A. My questions are over. Yes.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start the question answer session. The first question is for Guruji. When the pandemic is infecting more and more people across the world, we are suddenly aware and fearful of our mortality. How can Sanatan values help us accept this reality?
You have answered in your question itself. You are saying how can Sanatan value? Sanatan word only thing is because rest of the question is in English and word Sanatan is unit. That means eternal. So you are acknowledging that you are eternal. Whether you are acknowledging that knowingly or you are just saying because it came somehow in your mind that this is the word I should use. So just eternal value is there because you are eternal. And once you realize this and move towards that, even is to begin to move toward that you are eternal being, that means birth and death both becomes your part. You do not become birth and death. So what makes it? It makes you fearless. And when you are fearless, then your discernment, that means Vivek, becomes clear. Vivek means you will know without any confusion that what steps you should take. You will listen carefully. So when you are maintaining social distance, when you are following the rules which are given by your community or house or city or country, wherever you are, and always remembering this, that you are eternal being, that can boost your confidence and immunity both. Because such things which you know, when you do little yoga, when you do little meditation, you can experiment this and write your notes. That after meditation you feel boost up, that you have some kind of revitalization has happened. Now there is no coaching in it. You do it and report back. So this can help so much in fighting, in our fight against pandemic in all the ways. Then there are traditional herbs and all which are known, that what all you should make part of your food, little consciously, all those things you may already be using in your food, in your cooking and kitchen, but with little consciousness. If you start using them, you will be fantastic. You can fight it not only for yourself, but it can go a long way. You can help others, because now what people need, something has happened in somebody's family or somewhere near and dear, they are in a very bad shape. So give them courage back, give them that, tell them that knowledge. And because if they are at that time when they are open, give them that courage. Even your vibration helps them when you are around. So it can help in so many ways. I mean, eternal ways it can help to fight the pandemic. That's how I'll put it.
Thank you, Guruji. The next question is for Dr. Shekhar Patel. In your work experience with native tribes, what do we need to learn from their cultures and traditions?
I think what I personally learned from them is how strong they believe in their own systems. And actually, I've seen it works for them to survive. And that's why they are surviving today, or else by now they would have been wiped out. So I think belief in our own oneself and our own systems, I think that is the biggest thing that we can learn from tribal life. You are on mute.
The next question.
Yes.
The next question is for Guruji. The tools we have, like mind, intelligence, and memory, are mortal. Then how can they perceive something eternal?
No. It's a wrong perception. See, this body goes. See, we call it is made of 5 elements. So when its time is over, it dissolves into 5 elements. But does memory, intelligence, and mind, they also perish? They don't, because we are seeing it from an individual's perspective in relation to our own body. That is why how this question has been framed. Fine. But mind is always there. We understand this. Mind is there, intelligence is there. These are things forever. Is Ashtadha Prakriti. These are subtler part of subtler bodies, but there is a reality beyond that. Manas pare buddhi, buddhis parastat, means that one is even beyond intelligence. So, but these are not mortal. These are there all the time. But when we refine as an individual human being, then when we transcend our senses, then we find that Joi Joi Pinde Swai Brahmande, means individual mind and universal mind are almost one. This little space I am leaving for almost. This thoda parda zaruri. The little wheel is needed. So that is all not the case that these are mortal. These are part of your subtle bodies, which they stay even when the body passes. No, there is a such thing. Suppose you say, no, if a body passes away and we were not a good person, suddenly will we become good person after dying? Body is passing away. We will stay as we were in subtler body with those tendencies, and again looking for till the next body is got. So these things are not changing. We can perceive that when we transcend ourselves, then we perceive that these are part of our subtle body, and then there is a causal body. So you can go that way, that these are not, first thing is, it's not mortal things. These are immortal. And you are even beyond that. So we say this in Sahaj Smritiyo, immortality to infinity to eternity. Now, without experience, they sound only words. That's why I say Vaikri has a limit. After that's doesn't, to a person in Vaikri language, they say, what is the difference between immortal and infinite? I say my life is immortal. I can say my life is infinite. One and the same thing. It is not. So through experience only we get such things. So these are not mortal. Yeah, we can experience immortal through that.
Thank you, Guruji. The next question is for Dr. Shekhar Patel. How do Westerners take to Sanatan values? We sometimes get the feeling that outsiders are more receptive of our values than our own countrymen.
I think my experience has been that all those whom I have met, they got disillusioned with their own systems, in the sense, especially these people who take to Sanatan values, they question a lot. They start questioning, and as Guruji said, there comes a point, where you have to keep rejecting, which is untruth, and they come to a point where they cannot find the next step. So as seeker of knowledge, then they turn towards our Sanatana system, and they start getting some ideas that, okay, this is probably true, and then they pursue that path. And so all those whom I have met have gone through the process of rejection of untruth, and come to Sanatan fold. So that at least those whom I know. So that is what I know from them.
Thank you, Dr. Shekharji. The next question is for Guruji. What is the difference between Hinduism and Sanatan?
Only words difference. See, at what point of time, because this is the work for Itihas and historians, because there will be a lot of discussion. What point of time we started, we came to be known as Hindus to others. Means there's a simple narration which is giving us that we were this side of the Hindu Sagar, or Sindhu Nadi, either ways, both narratives are there. So people from the other side started calling up Hindu because they saw they could not pronounce. They Hafta Hindu, Sapta Sindhu, or the Hafta Hindu. So slowly, we also, if we see, it's like somebody start calling by some name. After some time, he also start calling by that name to himself or herself because that become very popular. So that is how this identity, this name came upon us. But we are the same people. Well, there is no difference. Some point of time when we have sufficiently educated in our own systems, then people will forget this and they will know that they are Sanatana beings. So there is no difference. Call it, means it is like same. You call, if one person has two names, whichever suits you, you call. But ultimately you remember Rashi ka naam to hai, real name is this. So we are Sanatana. And we are known as Hindu. We are fine with that. We accept that because otherwise there will be again confusion. So once the confusion is over through textbooks and everything, new generations are told the reality and their consciousness is formed right way that that is how we are known as Hindus, but we are Sanatana. And that is one and the same thing only.
Thank you, Guruji. The next question is for Dr. Shekhar Patel. We were never taught in school or college about Sanatan values. How can we ensure future generations are made aware of these?
So at least I can speak on behalf of American Hindus. Here also we were nobody teaches us about our Hindu dharma and all that, and primarily it is we as parents try to read, try to explore independent sources of our true literature, and then we educate ourselves, and then we start educating our kids, and then they start pursuing that. So it has become a more family thing, depending upon the attitude of the family. But there needs to be a narrative, which I liked today what Guruji said, that needs to be built, and it should be powerful enough that people get drawn to that and then start their journey of learning the truth.
Thank you, Dr. Patel. The next question is for Guruji. How does one tackle doubt regarding the truth, regarding eternal life?
So doubt, as we say, generally these are queries. People are naming them. That's why I say language has a big role to play, especially when seeker is new. Means comparatively, his seeking has just started. So language, what is one's mother tongue, his or her mother tongue? Because doubt, if I translate in Indic languages, it is called Sandeh. This word meaning means the one son plus they, the one that with whom they this body is. So this body is around the soul. So from which side you are looking? See, from this side I see you, from that side you see me. Same way, if we are looking from this to that, then we will call, there should be no doubt, Sandeh, that there is soul. Soul is looking from that side, then that is looking at this. And he says, there is no doubt that I am eternal. So that is the position which one has to reach. So that is the doubt, means you are saying, I do not exist after so-called death or before birth. That is, the Sandeh is only one. All others are queries, questions. So Sandeh, so it is a long process. That once you realize this, that you go to a place or some, as we call to the Guru, and slowly with association. So there is a way that for a longer period when we are in association, so every seer has acknowledged this. And therefore, I am also acknowledging, asserting it very clearly that this is the case, that with long association. Like Patanjali says, Dirgha Kal Sanskar Shevito. या तुलसीदास से जब बहुकाल करिए सत्संगा, with a long period of time satsang is there, tab hoya hai sansay bhanga. And Krishna says same thing. Sansayatma vinashyati. That the one who has doubt, sansayatma, that you are doubting that I am a soul. See, soul is not the correct translation of atma. Then everywhere I have this issue, and I have written a long series about this, that how the Indic words are almost never communicated in English. They always keep running parallel, but somehow something is communicated when person is ready. So doubt is only that you are not an eternal being. That is called doubt. That I am not an Atma. That is doubt. Every other question is just a query which can be addressed through various, there are techniques, upaya, which we call. So that according to the stage of consciousness of the taught, a guru keeps telling them, keep conveying various ways. So slowly, they're all queries with go and ask this, their question, go to the guru and ask our question, our queries and get them addressed. And what has been taught, so say, Sravana Manana Nididhyasana. What have been learned, Sravan doesn't mean only listening. What have been learned, that is also meaning. Sravan exactly means this. It's a verbal, only verbal word meaning of Sravan is considered listening, but this is not that easy. Sravan means you have got it. So learned it. But what you have learned it, so manan. Manan means now you are knowing how to apply this in the real life. When it is applied, then it is known as nididhyasana. So these in saying are three parts, but this is one part only. In same instant, you are doing all these things. What you have learned, that you have do manan, and that only you put into practice, nididhyasana. So then, if that is found truth, you put a query and you got a solution and you put it into the nididhyasana and you got a result. With that result, you again go, this is what I have found. So then you move further ahead. So that is how superfluous we keep removing untruth. So from Satyam Nanritam, as we say, only truth, not untruth. That is also indicated so that we do not forget. Because if somebody say, no, I am nestling on the truth, the other side they forget generally. So always keeping oneself alert, awake, asking questions. So that is how queries are addressed. But as far as the doubt or Sunday which you are saying, that needs long period of time. Maybe a one moment also, depending on our preparation, how much prepared we are. In a moment also, we can realize that we are eternal being. Generally, it takes time. So we keep both the things open. We tell both the things. That yes, it is possible in a very limited time, yet it may take so many births also. But it never goes waste. Once we have moved towards death, that becomes our investment into the eternity. Our means the individual souls. So in the next birth, they again from there they pick up. But such things we generally do not tell very much, that people become complacent. They become procrastinators. Then if there are births and birth, then what is the hurry? No, there are births and birth, but what is the guarantee that next time you will get a human frame again? That is not a guarantee. And realization is possible only in human frame. Neither in the forms which are higher than this, subtler than this, nor in lower, only human frame. Naratan samnai kabnu dehi. There is nobody like human body. All are doing, no, all are praising this. Surmuni Siddha Ityadi Prashansatehi. All are doing its praise. Oh, this is wonderful. And this has also been told that this you can, if you don't use it properly, then it becomes another issue. So doubts can be cleared this way by through association, and queries can be answered by going to the guru and asking questions.
Thank you, Guruji. Next question for Dr. Shekhar Patel. Are there beneficial conversations happening between tribal leaders and political leaders? If not, how do we create that?
Unfortunately, that is not happening because tribal leaders come across with questions that are very uncomfortable for the mainstream politicians, And since most of the tribal systems across the globe have had to bear a brunt of this industrial world in a big way. And once these politicians, because politicians also have duty towards the mainstream voters, the conversations are almost, purposefully not happening. So probably, and that is where ICCS tries to play a role, where we try to make that dialogue happen and let politicians understand that what tribal leaders may be saying, it may initially sting, but actually it is in the interest of the larger society to listen to what the tribals have to say, which may actually help save the entire society. So we look forward to that dialogue happening in the longer term.
Thank you, Dr. Patelji. The next question is for Guruji. How can someone stay calm when their loved ones are being lost in this pandemic?
See, reality we have to accept. And yes, I understand it is easy to say something when people with whom we have been associated for long, maybe for birth time. If you are sensitive, even a small leaf falls from the tree, one trembles, like say, Pati tuti dar se diya kabira roe, means even if a leaf falling from a tree, looking a scent, he started crying. But realization is there. Second part says, he this in this world, and he is do patan ke beech mein sabut bachana koe. That means this and that, between this and that, everybody gets a little bit trembling when this happens. But if we are always closer to the truth, then that gives us sustenance. Truth we have to accept, and truth always exalts. This I am saying. If we have reached to the truth, then no matter what the circumstances is, inner happiness, or say, which is peace, in fact, we call it happiness, but it is peace, contentment, that will always be there. That is the taste of the truth. So when we are, that's why we always hanker after, or we always advocate for that one should be spiritual, because essentially one is a spiritual being. So if we are closer to the truth, then it becomes easier to accommodate whatever is happening around us. So in all circumstances, spirituality helps us. If that's why we say, if any such thing has happened, then I say one should go, even if there is none interested in the family in spirituality. At such time, we can go to the some person whom we consider spiritual, and we will definitely see remarkable difference in our perception after meeting, whatever the misfortune may have been. So that means this is verifiable, this is evidentiary. So spirituality helps a lot. That is how we say positive frame of mind, everything. But if that quotient is not being awakened, then how? It sounds just what you call empty words. So spirituality helps a lot. One should meditate, one should be closer to the truth, and then one can accommodate everything, and truth liberates everything around truth. Is like that. Nice, I like in Yaksha Prashna that comes to the Yaksha Yudhishthira. See, that is a kind of thing he remembers. Remember the scene. His four brothers are laying dead in front of him. The story is long, but I am cutting it short because most of you know that. Still, when Yaksha is asking stop, he is calm. Otherwise, when your four young brothers are lying dead in front of you, will listen to anyone. If you are not spiritual, no, you will wail and cry and attend to them. No, but he is calm and cool. He said, yes, tell me what is. He said, you have to answer my questions. Then only you can drink the water. And he answers one by one all the questions. And among that, one question comes. Yaksha asks, what is inevitable? Then he says, happiness is inevitable. Look, whose four brothers are lying dead in front of him, still he say, happiness is inevitable. That says so many things. That these stories are not just stories. These are somebody's life stories. Somebody who has lived their life that way. So spirituality helps to accommodate everything. I think I have made that point to somewhat clarity. Huh?
Thank you, Guruji. The next question is for Dr. Shekhar Patel. There is a tendency in many of our thoughts that developed countries have better lifestyle and infrastructure, and that's why many migrate. This way, our many talents leave. How to balance this?
So, I'll just take one more minute. When in US, when you come in, there is a place near Statue of Liberty. It's called Ellis Island. And in 1900s, big wave of people who wanted to migrate came from Europe to America. And they all came to thinking that I'm going to a great place. And, when they were held in one place, there was a migrant who wrote it on the wall. And I was visiting Ellis Island. I read it, and it says that before coming to America, I thought all the pavements were made of gold. But when I came here, I did not find any pavements made of gold. But rather, I found that pavement is to be built by me only. So that is the story of migration to so-called developed countries, including me. Like every person comes here with a dream and thinking there is prosperity. And it is only a narration and it is a narrative to say that there is a lot of prosperity. No doubt there is more money, but there is no peace. There is very little happiness. And I'm not saying as a blanket statement, but if you see the human rights of violations of the colored people in America, and that is all in the news, you will see that it is centuries in all developed countries. It is centuries of exploitation that has happened. Only a few get rich, only a few get what they want, but majority are go through that mill and in the end up disappointed. One person from India, he came, he said, I'm from Nellore in Andhra Pradesh. He said, I had one bedroom apartment there and I thought I will come to America, earn living and build a big house back home. Here I got made a big, I spent whole life. Now I have 4 bedrooms. So in entire life, basically I was working for 3 extra bedrooms. So that is how I can summarize the story. I think across the world, development is taking place, and I think there are more. The narrative will slowly change. I think so. In next 20, 30 years, the narrative will change.
Thank you, Dr. Shekhar Patel. The next question, the final question, is for Guruji. Till the time we have reached to the truth or attained ourselves, how can we help others without any doubt that we are doing the right thing?
See, as we say, path to knowledge is keep removing doshas, which means what is impurity around us. So china dosha means that impurity keep going, and we keep cleaning. Now let's take a simple example. When you come into a dirty room and you broom it, you know for sure that now it is cleaner than earlier. So if somebody enters, you want to help him or her, you can tell, you go to his or her room, you enter, you say, this is how I cleaned my room. You can also clean. So you are firm to that extent about your cleanliness, that I know this much cleaning. This is true in my experience. So You very confidently, you tell others also that you can clean your. Now, it doesn't mean that you have reached to the cleanliness, because that is always there. That's why our journey, we say, no, it is infinite. Even when you become infinite, then also the question, the seeker had asked that when I have become infinite, so have I come infinitely closer or I have become infinitely far? Because infinity means infinity, all the ways. So that means you have progressed. You have come to this realization that you are infinite. Is that a mean achievement? So that way we always keep evolving. But when we are real beings, then whatever have come through to our experience, very confidently, we tell others that this is true in my experience. And that is how we can help others. Mostly in India, this thing is a problem. Here, good people keep distance from each other. They are scared to name people, while ignorant ones are so confident and they name everyone. These are with me, these are my people, and everything. So this is the problem. Here we call, you see, this whatever narratives are running in the media and all, you will always see. Is not all of us knowing? When you read a report from a journalist or watch anything, you know he is not a journalist or she is not a journalist, he is citing this way and that way. But you don't say anything. But others are, you see there how much they are seeing. Or if somebody is commenting, they are commenting from a very low position, not clearly as much as needed, so that it helps everyone. So when it comes to helping others, as much clarity we have got, as much we have become truth, there should be no hesitation in sharing with others. That is what Paramarth is. So because when you are sharing the truth, then there is no hesitation in you. But this comes only when you are firm about your experience. This is my evidence. And when you are not doing it, then you go down also. That also you may have noticed. If you are not doing nididhyasana, as I was saying, that if you have heard it, you have contemplated over, but not have put into practice, then that truth, you have fallen from that. So this is necessary that we help each other this way, but always remembering that we have not reached to the ultimate truth. Naiti Naiti Charedviti, not this, I am not this, I have yet to reach the truth. But that doesn't mean that I am living in a lie. Some truth I have attained. So, Ekam Shad Vipra Bahuda Vadanti, every thread, just like in a string theory, they say, every thread would connect to the same eternity because you are one. So, as much as we have earned, as much as conscious we have become, we keep sharing in the brotherhood, sense of brotherhood or sisterhood, whatever we want to call, humanhood, divinehood, anything, anyhood. And we keep sharing the truth. That's it. So that is how we can help each other with values of course, when we evolve, we become more sustainable in terms of values. So that helps a lot. When I say no, one should be compassionate, but if we have really become compassionate, that others can feel compassion in our association, in our presence, that speaks volumes about helping. So helping happens many ways. If one is even thinking positive thought, that is also helping. So by communicating your truth, we can help always each other. Okay.
Thank you, Guruji. There are many more questions, but keeping in mind the time constraint, we are concluding today's session. Audience, you can post your questions, comments, and feedback via Facebook and YouTube chat. Thank you, Guruji. Thank you, Dr. Shekhar Patelji, for this very engaging and enlightening Upanishad. Thank you, audience, and we shall see you in our next Upanishad. We are sharing
Thank you.
details of our upcoming Upanishads. Shri Nilesh Oak, author, researcher, 29th May. Shri Subhash Kak, Padma Shri, author, 5th of June.
Harihi Om Tasha. Harihi Om
Thank you,
Tasha.
everyone.